Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Peter Pero, and I'm an author for Arcadia Publishing Company now, with my first book on Italians in Chicago. And I'm kind of celebrating that here at this San Lorenzana Festival. Happens every year here in Berwyn, and we're here on Harlem Avenue on this glorious day to celebrate the Saints' Day, but also our heritage in general in being Italian and specifically Sicilian, as my grandfather was. I live in Little Italy. I'm still there, the Taylor Street and Racine area, and I came out to Berwyn today just to join in this, the Flight of the Angels, and we love the procession. It happens every year the same way, thank God. I like that part of it, that there's something you can depend on the same each year. I want to say something, though, for this book. Do we have enough, do we have 5 minutes? Or the book is in Borders or Barnes & Noble, and it's called Chicago Italians at Work. It's what they did, what my grandfather, what your papa did for a living. It features mostly photos of men and women at work. Everything from Commonwealth Edison to Pullman to U.S. Steel to bakeries to bread making, and you can guess some of the trades. Tailoring, shoemakers, making music as we hear right now. All those were common to our ancestors to get a toehold on the economy and make a living here in Chicago. So I write about Chicago Italians from 1890 to 1980, when industry was king in Chicago, and what they did in those trades. I leave it up to a future generation to write what happened after 1980 to the present. Or maybe that'll be my next book. So that's all I can say. Ciao, Italiani.
Thank you. What in particular? What sort of trades did the Italians here in Chicago? Yeah. I'm just getting some more background on this. So what sort of trades were the Italians very well represented here in Chicago?
Well represented in the garment trades, heavily represented. Companies like Hart, Schaffner, and Marx. Shoe industry, Florsheim shoe. Heavy in steel, Pullman Industries. Heavy colony there.
And they were fabricators?
Fabricators. Heavy in construction of everything from the United Center, at that time called Chicago Stadium, to building the planetarium. Heavy in the stone trades and construction.
My people were masons, and they were bricklayers.
Absolutely, it's so common. And from what part of Italy?
They were from Italy also. They were from Calabria.
Calabria. So we find, the stonemasons, construction, building the streets we stand on. Dirty work, hard work, but it put their kids in college, as my father did, to write the history of what our ancestors did.
Thank you. Okay.
A bloody story in our Chicago history was on Memorial Day 1937, strikers at U.S. Steel and Republic Steel had a picnic and rally to support strikers whose families had been out for quite some time. Both Chicago police and hired security gunmen came on the picnic grounds and first opened fire, then clubbed the remaining people who were on the ground. 7 or 8 were killed. One was an Italian, Anthony Tagliori. Most of them were back wounds. Strikers had no arms. They had picket signs. It was a police riot, as the investigation showed. It was a bloody side of Chicago labor history, and that was one of the worst incidents since the Haymarket strike of the 1890s.
And how was that strike resolved?
They did, to my happiness, the CIO, Congress of Industrial Organization, finally organized. First at U.S. Steel, they capitulated, and later at Republic, Inland, Ryerson, and other steel makers on the south side, but not without years of fight, after years of fighting and that bloody massacre 70 years ago.
But eventually it was a victory.
It was a victory, and they did unionize the steel plants. Yes. Other victory was in the garment trades, but after much more of loss. 2,000 workers walked out in 1912, led by an Italian woman.
And what was her name? Do you remember?
It'll come back to me.
Okay, well, we will.
She walked out on Halsted Street at one of the lofts, and 16 women followed her. Eventually, 2,000 Jewish and Italian garment workers walked out. They did lose. They had to go back to their jobs at the same wages. The strike leaders didn't get their old jobs back. That took a very long time, about 20 years, to organize that trade. Not as easy as the steel strike. So that happened right on Halsted Street near 18th. Italians were very vigorous in the garment trades, the needle trades.
Thank you very much.
Yes.